All right, folks, let's get those hands dirty. Today, we're diving deep, deep into the world of soil erosion. Our guide, a blog post. Yeah, you heard right. It's called Notes on Gardening, part 477, to be exact.
Wow, 477. That's a lot of notes.
Right. This installment is all about the impact of soil erosion on those plant species we love. Published just today, March 15th, 2025. Our author, an old software plumber, as he calls himself, named Ang. You can find him over at kianmeng.org.
Software plumber by day, plant guru by night, it seems.
Haha. Yeah, seriously. And with 477 parts in this Notes on Gardening series, this guy clearly knows his stuff. Today, we're going to unearth, pun intended, some of Ang's firsthand experiences with soil erosion and how it's impacting his garden.
I'm all ears.
So to kick things off, Ang's noticed something pretty interesting about slopes. The plants on a slope in his garden just aren't doing as well as the ones at the bottom. I mean, it makes sense, gravity and all that, but
Yeah.
just how big of a deal is this slope situation?
Oh, it's a bigger deal than you might think. Way bigger. See, when rain hits a slope, it's like, whoosh, gone.
Like a slip-and slide for water.
Exactly. Doesn't have a chance to soak into the soil, just rushes downhill, taking all the good stuff, the nutrients with it.
So the soil's left high and dry.
Pretty much. Dry, nutrient deprived. Not exactly a five-star hotel for plants.
Okay, so it's not just about the angle of the slope, it's what that angle does to the soil's ability to hold water and all those nutrients. Makes sense.
Exactly. And imagine you're a plant, right? Trying to set up shop on a slope. It's like trying to build a house on, I don't know, a waterbed.
Uh-huh. Good analogy.
It's a constant struggle. Those roots are working overtime, trying to find a grip in soil that's always drying out, eroding away.
This is giving me a whole new appreciation for what plants go through.
Right. And here's the thing that really blew my mind. Aang said even the weeds are struggling on this slope. You'd think weeds could survive anywhere.
Oh, totally.
Wow.
They're supposed to be the ultimate survivors.
I know, but even they're having a tough time. And the photo he includes in his post, oh man, it's night and day.
I was just going to say, it's like two different worlds.
Yeah, you've got the base of the slope. It's like this lush paradise, you know? Everything's thriving.
Yeah, you can practically hear the birds singing, see the butterflies flitting about.
Exactly, but then you look up at the slope itself and it's, well, it's a different story.
Yeah, sparse, patchy. You could practically feel the
Oh,
struggle.
right. The visual really hits home.
It does. But the thing is, Aang's not just sitting back and watching his garden wash away.
Oh, no, he's not.
This is where things get interesting, right? He's fighting back.
Oh, yeah. He's got some tricks up his sleeve.
Okay, spill it. What's his secret weapon?
Well, it's not exactly a secret. He's experimenting with trenches.
Trenches, like in the ground.
Yeah, like mini versions of terracing, you know?
That's interesting.
Think of them like little dams interrupting that downhill flow of water, giving it a chance to actually sink in.
Oh, so he's basically turning his slope into a bunch of small level platforms.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Pretty clever, right? I mean, terracing, that's a classic erosion control technique, especially on those larger slopes.
Totally. Makes a lot of sense. Slow and steady wins the race, or at least saves the soil.
Haha, yeah, exactly. What's fascinating to me is how Aang's taking this big picture concept and applying it to his own backyard.
Yeah, he's like a mad scientist back there. But with plants? Uh-huh. A plant scientist.
That's even better.
But there's more.
More.
Oh, yeah. He's also trying out some drought-tolerant plants on that slope, but he says he's getting mixed results.
Mixed results, huh? That piques my curiosity. What kind of plants is he talking about and what's working, what's not?
Well, he doesn't get into specifics in this particular post, which is a shame. I want to know more. But what he does say is that some plants that are usually considered drought-tolerant, they're actually struggling on his slope.
Really? That's so interesting. So it's not as simple as just finding plants that don't need a lot of water.
Nope. It's way more nuanced than that. Even those drought-tolerant plants have their preferences, you know?
Yeah.
Some like it dry and sandy. Others need a bit more clay. Some can handle baking in the sun all day. Others want a little shade. So it's all about finding the right plant for the right spot, considering all those little micro conditions on that slope.
Absolutely. And that's where Aang's meticulous record keeping comes in. He's basically building his own personal plant database, tracking everything.
Oh, I love that. It's like he's running his own science experiment right there in his garden.
Right, and he's sharing his findings with the world, one blog post at a time. I think that's pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
And I bet that data is super valuable for anyone else out there dealing with similar challenges in their gardens. I mean, we've all got slopes, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And even if you don't, I think there's a bigger lesson here, something we can all apply to our lives, not just our gardens. It's about being observant,
Yeah.
you know, adaptable, not giving up when things don't go as planned.
Like Aang could have just thrown in the trowel, said, forget this slope.
Totally. But he didn't. He's out there experimenting, figuring things out. 477 blog posts later, he's still going strong.
Yeah, that's real dedication.
And that's what I love about this deep dive. We're not just talking about soil erosion in some textbook sense, you know. We're seeing it through the eyes of someone who's dealing with it day in and day out.
Totally. And learning from his successes and his failures.
Exactly. And you know what really blows my mind? This whole thing with Aang's garden, as small as it seems, it's actually connected to a much bigger issue that's impacting the whole planet.
Wait, what? Aang's garden is like a microcosm of global drama.
In a way, yeah, because soil erosion, it's not just a gardener's headache. It's a major contributor to desertification.
Desertification, that's when fertile land turns into a desert.
Exactly. And that's a huge problem. We're talking agriculture, food security, even climate change.
Wow. So we've gone from how to keep my petunias happy to saving the world one trench at a time.
Pretty much.
Okay, I am officially hooked. Tell me more about this desertification thing. What's causing it?
Oh, lots of things. Deforestation, unsustainable farming practices, and good old-fashioned erosion, of course. When we get rid of trees, overgraze our livestock, or till the soil too much, we're basically weakening its defenses.
So it's like we're stripping away its armor, leaving it vulnerable to wind and rain.
Exactly. And once that topsoil is gone, it's really hard to get it back. Like, it takes hundreds, even thousands of years for soil to regenerate naturally.
That's kind of terrifying, actually.
It is. Makes what Aang's doing in his garden seem even more important, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. He's not just messing around with plants. He's engaging in some serious environmental stewardship.
He is. And the best part is he's doing it in a way that everyone can relate to, you know, whether you've got a huge garden or just a little balcony.
That's what I love about this deep dive. We're not getting a lecture on soil erosion. We're getting a front row seat to Aang's personal journey as a gardener.
And through that, we're learning about how interconnected everything really is.
Exactly. It's pretty powerful stuff. So if Aang's experience is a reflection of this global issue, this desertification thing, could the solutions he's testing out in his garden be scaled up? Like, could we actually use them to tackle these bigger challenges?
That is a great question.
You're telling me there's hope for those barren wastelands.
There is hope. It's not going to be easy, but by understanding how soil erosion works and using effective strategies on a larger scale, we can start to heal the land. It's possible.
Okay, so let's talk specifics. What can we learn from Aang's little living laboratory that could be applied to these bigger efforts?
Well, first of all, his commitment to just observing and experimenting, that's huge. He's not just blindly following a textbook. He's adapting his approach based on what he's seeing in his own garden. That kind of local knowledge, it's invaluable.
So it's about being attentive, adaptable, and not being afraid to, I don't know, break a few plant stems along the way.
Exactly. And those trenches he's using, as simple as they seem, they're a perfect example of how we can adapt traditional techniques to modern settings. Low tech, low cost, and effective.
And we can't forget his work with those drought-tolerant plants. I mean, even though he's having some setbacks, he's not giving up.
Absolutely. And by documenting everything so carefully, he's creating a resource that could help other gardeners, maybe even scientists working on these larger-scale restoration projects.
It's amazing, really. All this knowledge freely shared on his blog.
That's the beauty of citizen science. Anyone can contribute. You just have to be curious, willing to experiment, and share what you learn.
And who knows, maybe Aang's little experiments will spark something bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll inspire a whole new generation of, like, eco-warriors to tackle this soil erosion problem on a global scale.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is.
But for now, let's get back to Aang's garden. What's he actually doing with those trenches? What kind of drought-tolerant plants is he using? And most importantly, what can we learn from his successes and those mixed results?
Hold that thought, because we're going to take a quick break and come back to explore those very questions. Don't go anywhere, folks. The dirt is about to get real.
Aha, I love it.
Okay, so we're back and ready to dig a little deeper, literally, into Aang's gardening adventures. We left off talking about trenches, drought-tolerant plants, mixed results. Any details? What's really happening in this guy's garden?
Let's start with those trenches. Aang's approach is actually quite clever. He's not just digging random ditches, he's strategically placing them along, well, have you ever heard of contour lines?
Like on a map. those topographical lines.
Exactly. Imagine those lines on a map, the ones that connect points of equal elevation. That's what contour lines are. Aang is digging his trenches along those lines. He's creating like miniature terraces that follow the natural shape of the slope.
Oh, that's cool. So instead of like bulldozing the whole thing into a different shape, he's working with what's already there, like sculpting the landscape almost.
Perfect analogy. And by following those contours, those trenches are way more effective. Think about it. When the water hits that trench, it can't just rush downhill anymore. It has to spread out sideways, soak into the soil along that level strip.
It's like he's created a series of like tiny little sponges running across the slope.
Yeah.
Genius. Way better than just letting the water run wild.
Right. And here's something else that's cool. He's not just leaving those trenches bare, he's planting in them.
Wait, planting in the trenches? But wouldn't those plants just get washed away?
Well, that's where his choice of plants comes in. He's picking species that have those deep, strong root systems, ones that can anchor themselves in the trench and actually help hold the soil in place.
So it's like a win-win. The trench gives the plant a safe place to grow, and the plant helps reinforce the trench and prevents more erosion.
Exactly. It's like they're working together, defying gravity as a team.
I love it. Okay, now I got to ask about those drought-tolerant plants. Remember, he said he's getting mixed results. Spill the tea, what's working and what's not.
Honestly, he doesn't give a lot of specifics in this post, which is a little frustrating. But he does mention that some plants that are normally considered drought tolerant, they're actually struggling on his slope.
No way. I thought drought-tolerant meant, like, they could survive on a drop of water a month. What's the deal?
It's more complicated than that. Even within the category of drought tolerant, you've got all sorts of variations. Some like it dry and sandy, some need clay, some love full sun, others prefer a little shade. It's not one size fits all.
So it's not just about finding plants that don't need much water. It's about matching the plant to the specific conditions of that slope.
Exactly. And that's where Aang's super detailed record keeping comes in handy. By carefully documenting how different plants perform in different spots on his slope, he's basically creating this personalized plant database.
It's like he's doing his own research project in his backyard and then sharing it with the world, which is so cool.
It is cool. And I bet his notes are super helpful for other gardeners, especially those dealing with similar slopes and challenges.
Absolutely. It highlights the importance of, like, paying attention, really observing what's going on in your garden. What works in one spot might not work in another.
Totally. And also not being afraid to experiment, trying things out and seeing what happens.
Gotta love Aang's dedication.
Yeah.
477 blog posts. That's a lot of experimenting.
It is. And I think there's a bigger lesson there, not just for gardening, but for life in general. Approaching things with a sense of curiosity, trying things out, and not giving up even when things get tough.
Totally. And that's what's so great about this deep dive. We're not just reading about soil erosion in some textbook. We're seeing it through the eyes of someone who's living it.
And learning from his experiences, his successes, his setbacks, everything.
Exactly. So we've talked about Aang's trenches, his plant choices, his record keeping. Now I'm wondering if we could all channel a little bit of Aang's spirit, that curiosity and willingness to experiment, could we tackle those bigger environmental challenges we discussed earlier, like desertification?
Now that is a really interesting question.
So what do you think? Are you saying the key to fighting desertification, restoring degraded land, ensuring food security for a growing population, it all lies in gardening?
Well, maybe not just gardening, but I do think there are lessons to be learned from people like Aang, people who are getting their hands dirty, observing, experimenting, and finding solutions that work.
Okay, I like where this is going. Give me some specifics. How can we take those small-scale gardening techniques and scale them up to address these global issues?
Well, think about those contour trenches Aang is using. That's a great example of a low-tech, low-cost way to control erosion. We could apply that same principle on a larger scale, creating contour bunds or swales to slow down water runoff and help the land absorb more moisture.
Swales, what are those?
Imagine them as like longer, shallower ditches similar to trenches, but designed to capture and hold rainwater, allowing it to slowly seep into the ground and replenish those underground water sources. They're often used in permaculture and regenerative agriculture to restore the natural water cycle and improve soil health.
It's like Aang's trench technique, but supersized. And instead of just helping a few plants on a slope, it's helping to bring entire ecosystems back to life.
Exactly. And just like Aang is carefully choosing which plants to put in his trenches, we can use strategic planting on a larger scale to restore degraded landscapes. Think trees, shrubs, grasses, all with those deep roots that help hold the soil together, prevent erosion, and create a more resilient ecosystem.
So basically, we're taking Aang's gardening wisdom and applying it to the planet. I love that.
Right, and it's not just about the specific techniques, it's about that mindset, that willingness to observe, experiment, adapt. That's something we can all apply to any challenge we face, whether it's in our gardens or in our lives.
It's about being resourceful, thinking outside the box, not being afraid to get a little dirty. And, maybe, just maybe, there's another Aang out there somewhere, another software plumber with a passion for plants and a head full of brilliant ideas just waiting to be discovered.
Wouldn't that be awesome? The world needs more people like Aang, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And that's what makes these deep dives so rewarding. We get to learn from these amazing individuals, get inspired by their passion, and hopefully come away with a renewed sense of hope for the future.
I couldn't agree more.
So, on that note, huge thanks to Aang for sharing his journey with us. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, happy gardening. Okay, we're back, ready to wrap things up.
I gotta say, it's amazing how just looking at one guy's garden can teach us so much, you know?
It really is. I mean, Aang's experience is such a good example of how something small, something local can be connected to these huge global issues, like his struggles with erosion on that little slope. It's a microcosm of what's happening with desertification all over the world.
Yeah, it puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
It totally does.
And what's really inspiring is how he's tackling these challenges, right? Not with like bulldozers and high-tech gadgets, but with trenches and plants. It's back to basics in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like proof that you don't need a fancy degree or tons of money to make a difference. It's about observation, experimentation, being willing to learn as you go.
And sharing what you learn. I mean, Aang's blog, that's a testament to the power of just putting your experiences out there, sharing your insights with the world.
It's citizen science at its finest. Just goes to show anyone can contribute to our understanding of, well, everything, really.
Totally. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with? What's that nugget of wisdom they can apply to their own gardens or even their lives in general?
Good question. I think the biggest thing is that we all have a part to play in protecting this planet, even if it starts small. Like in your own backyard, planting a tree, building a rain garden, maybe even just choosing to support those local sustainable farms. Every action counts.
And, there's something so fundamentally satisfying about getting your hands in the dirt, connecting with nature. Whether you're a master gardener or a total newbie, there's something about nurturing a plant and watching it grow that just, I don't know, feels right.
It does, and that's the beauty of gardening. It reminds us that we're a part of nature, not separate from it. And when we get that, when we understand how connected everything is, well, then we can start making choices that benefit both ourselves and the planet.
Well said. So next time you're feeling a little overwhelmed by, everything going on in the world, think about Aang. Think about his dedication to his garden, his willingness to try new things, and his generosity in sharing what he's learned. Maybe you'll be inspired to, I don't know, plant a seed of hope, literally or figuratively.
I love that. And speaking of inspiration, everyone should check out Aang's blog. It's quinanmeng.org. You'll find tons of gardening wisdom, thought-provoking observations, even a bit of humor sprinkled in there.
Absolutely. A huge thank you to Aang for sharing his journey with us. And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, happy gardening, everyone.